Echoes of the Divine, the history of South Indian temples. Hello, friends. This is your podcast host, Kenny Singh 360. And today, I welcome you all to my podcast titled Echoes of the Divine, where we explore the rich history and cultural significance of India's spiritual landmarks. And today, we're diving deep into the heart of South India to unravel the fascinating history of its temples. These sacred sites are more than just architectural wonders. They are living, breathing symbols of devotion, art, and culture. So let's embark on a journey through time and explore how South Indian temples have evolved, influenced, and left their mark on the world. Part 1 of the host is the ancient roots, prehistoric foundations. Our story begins thousands of years ago. The roots of South Indian temples can be traced back to the ancient civilizations of the Indus Valley, where there is evidence of early spiritual practices. But when we talk about the temples that we know today, we need to start with the early Dravidian culture, which took shape around 300 BC in the southern part of India. In the earliest days, temples were not grand structures like we see them today. They were simple shrines or even open air spaces dedicated to the worship of local deities. Often these shrines were located near natural elements like trees, rivers, and mountains, signifying the connection between spirituality and nature. It is believed that early forms of worship revolved around the elements and cycles of nature long before the sophisticated temple architecture emerged. Rise of the Dravidian temple architecture. Fast forward to the 4th and 5th century CE, and we begin to see the rise of what we now recognize as the classical South Indian temple. The Pallava dynasty, with its capital at Kanchipuram, played a significant role in shaping temple architecture. The Pallavas were great patrons of the arts, and their contributions can still be seen in the rock-cut temples of Mamallapuram, also known as Mahabalipuram. One of the most iconic features of these early temples was the intricate rock carvings and sculptures. Temples were often built into hillsides or caves where elaborate reliefs depicting scenes from the Hindu mythology. The Rat temple structures carved from single rocks and a stunning example of the Pallava engineering marvel. But these weren't just religious spaces. They were also centers of community and culture where people gathered for festivals, art performances, and philosophical debates. The Pallavas laid the groundwork for later dynasties, like the Cholas, who would come to dominate South India from the 9th to 13th century. Under their rule, temples not only became grander, but also took on a more defined architectural style. We see the evolution of the Vimana, the towering spire above the sanctum of the temple, and the Shikhara, the pyramid-like structure that is now iconic in every South Indian temple that you come across. The golden age of Chola temples. When we talk about the golden age of Chola temples, we talk about the great temples that we see in South India. And obviously, the Chola dynasty cannot be ignored. Under the reign of Raja Chola I and his successor, the Chola Empire constructed some of the most magnificent temples in Indian history. The Brihadeshwara temple in Thanjavur is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a prime example. Completed in 1010 CE, this temple is one of the largest and most impressive in India, with a towering 66-meter central dome, the tallest of its kind at the time. The Cholas were not just builders, but also great patrons of the art and culture. The temples they constructed were elaborate centers of worship, education, and community life. These walls of these temples were adorned with exquisite sculptures that tell stories from the Mahabharata, Ramayana, and other sacred texts. These temples were also the hub for music, dance, and drama, with regular performances that were an integral part of temple life. But it wasn't just the physical beauty of the temple that made them remarkable. The Cholas also revolutionized temple administration. They established a system that saw that the temple as a center of local community with land grants and revenue dedicated to maintaining these sacred spaces. The temples became repositories of knowledge and wealth, influencing the local economy and social structure. Next, we see the Vijayanagara and the revival of temple culture. As you are aware, in the 14th century, the rise of the Vijayanagara Empire marked another transformative period in the history of South Indian temples. With the city of Hampi as its capital, the Vijayanagara rulers built some of the most stunning temples in the Deccan region. The Virupaksha temple in Hampi, dedicated to Lord Shiva, is a magnificent example of the fusion of Dravidian and Indo-Aryan styles. Its towering gopurams, intricate sculptures, and sprawling courtyard are a testament to the grandeur of the era. The Vijayanagara Empire brought with its renewed sense of devotion and an emphasis on temple building as both religious and political expression. This period saw the creation of new temple complexes and the revival of ancient traditions, blending them with new artistic forms and regional influences. Temples are a cultural hub. While this architectural and significance cannot be recognized, these temples have always been much more than just places of worship. They are cultural hubs centered where arts, literature, music, and philosophy flourish. Temple also hosted Kavi Sammelans or poetic gatherings, classical music performances, and even debates on various schools of philosophy. In fact, one of the greatest works of South Indian literature were written in the proximity of these temples. The Tivaram hymns, composed by the Nayanmar saints in Tamil Nadu, were sung in temples and became part of its liturgic rituals. Similarly, the work of the Alvars and the Tamil saints helped shape the devotional culture in the region. Temples today, preserving the past, embracing the future. Temples today play a pivotal role in how our society sees itself. The South Indian temples continue to be living testaments to centuries of devotion, culture, and history. Many temples, like the Meenakshi Amma temple in Madurai and the Sri Ranganatha Swami temple in Srirangam, are still active centers of worship, attracting millions of pilgrims around the world. But these temples also face the challenges of modernization and preservation. How do we preserve the grandeur of these ancient structures while accommodating the needs of the modern day devotee? How do we balance the sacred with the secular in a world where technology and tourism are rapidly changing the way we experience culture? So as we wrap up today's episode, I leave you with this thought. South Indian temples are more than just architectural marvels. They are living, evolving symbols of civilization that continues to thrive despite the passage of time. Whether through their art, ritual, or community, these temples are a testament to the timeless connection between humanity and the divine. So with this, I end my podcast for the day. Thank you for joining me on the journey through the history of South Indian temples. I hope this episode has inspired you to explore these incredible monuments of faith, art, and culture. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the echoes of the divine in your hearts. Namaste.